Hello, YouTube. I haven't introduced that way in a while. YouTube. As if the entity is what is watching me. Okie dokie. Quotey time. There is no more miserable human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision. Couple of things noteworthy in here. The first being one in whom nothing is habitual. There has been a thing going for many years, and I know because those are the videos that I get the most hits on, and they're the videos that still get put out by other people that I follow. Morning routines. Night routines somewhat, but especially morning routines. They came out a couple years ago now, and they have not lost their power. Because they're filled with positive, healthy habits overall. For mind, brain, body, exercise, reading, meditation, nature walks, things to reduce your central nervous system down and calm your body, stress reduction techniques, proper nutrition, a litany of tips and tricks and modalities. Bright light first thing in the morning to mimic sunlight. Sends dopamine to portions of our brain that are actually outside of our brain, attached to the back of our eyeballs, which is actual brain tissue, which is interesting, but a side note. But morning routines stick, and night routines stick because people want to find a way to fit healthy, positive things for their overall health into their life that are simple and easy to follow. So they will find routines. You can find any style of routine that fits your tastes and needs almost. There's so many out there. It started as a high performance executive CEO millionaire lifestyle thing. Healthy, wealthy people routines. And as it turns out, it's just a general good habit to practice when we're switching from our unconscious mind and coming into our conscious mind, to do things that are good for our overall health and welfare, like gratitude lists, meditation, de-stressing, drinking water, eating nutritiously, moving our body. All of these things are excellent. Morning routines stick because they're excellent. They're routine, they become habit, and they fit a lot of things that are good for your mental health, your stress management, your physical health, etc. into your life. Same with night routines. People also are very stressed and trying to juggle too many things, typically, and are desperately seeking for time management strategies. And having night and morning routines, because this tends to be the time that works best around people's work schedule, that they may be able to fit some of these systems in to their life, self-care and health-care and de-stressing and centering and balance and all of that good stuff. Central nervous system care into their life, around their family life, around their adult obligations, and around their job. That's why we don't see too many afternoon routines or midday ways routines, because it's typically rooted around the idea that people also hold jobs in the day that structure a big portion of their life away. And then you have your family. And so there's a time management aspect to things. I also made a video about routines that are important to have for those that are living with physical, mental limitations, mental health, cognitive disabilities, etc., that are independent enough to live on your own, to have systems and routines throughout the day, not just morning and night, but a system of when you pay your bills, what times of day you eat, keeping your hygiene up, keeping your home care up, when you take your medicine, so that all of your basic adulting is cared for and you can continue to live independently. We are creatures of habit, humans. We resist change, and we find it difficult to implement healthy things into our life. We have time management issues. We want to improve, we don't know how. And so doing these morning, night routines are usually fast, simple ways to incorporate healthy habits into our lives without too dramatic an overall lifestyle change that's going to be a shock to your system and you're not going to be able to keep up with it. Like making the decision, I'm going to run for a marathon, or I'm going to completely change my diet. At least you've got a healthy breakfast in that day. And you can stick to that and you can build on these changes. It eases us into change of habit. And it itself becomes a habit. And habit is important because it is not the decision, and conversely, the action we take, reaction and action we take on a day, even 2 days, maybe even a week, unless it's some extreme, really bad choice that is going to impact, in the grand scheme of things, your overall health, physical, mental, emotional, your relationships, the quality of your life overall. If I have a little too much caffeine or cake one day, I have a little too much caffeine or cake one day. If I have a little too much caffeine or cake every day, I'm becoming unfit, malnourished, and putting pressure on my cardiovascular system. If I skip brushing my teeth a day or two, I'm out camping, I don't do it, they're not going to rot or fall out of my head. But if I do it day after day after day after day after day, I run the risk of cardiovascular disease from something as simple as not brushing your teeth. It is not what you do now and again. It is what you do again and again. It is what constitutes your daytime choices, decisions, reactions, behaviors, thoughts, life in inner world and outer world, over and over and over and over and over and over again. That constitutes your life. We are what we think are what we behave, we are what we do repeatedly. What we consistently do is what we consist of. Not what we do now and again, but what we do again and again. So to have a better life, a happier, more fulfilling life, quality of health, quality of relationships, you need to make sure that your decisions and actions and behaviors that you're doing more often than not on a daily basis, again and again and again, your self-talk, the way the words you say to yourself, I'm stupid, I'm lazy, I can't believe I did that, I'm tired, I'm sick, I'm sore, I hate this, I hate myself, he's irritating. All of those things, you say them again and again and again and again, they become hardwired mechanisms in your brain. Your body also, it's like when you drive home and you're driven the same way so many times from work that sometimes you arrive home and you realize you've been in highway hypnosis and you're amazed you got home without killing anyone because you have muscle memory. Our bodies retain autopilot of our habituated actions. And so your consistency of what you do, the totality, every little decision, every little thing that you do, more often than not, most days, becomes the quality of your life in all its dynamics. And what we do more often than not, day after day after day after day, is a constellation of habit. Habits can be good for us, not necessarily bad habits. Habits are just something we do repeatedly. Anything we do repeatedly. We all have good, we all have bad habits, and that's why people scroll the internet for morning and evening routines and fitness routines and routines to try and better structure their habits toward healthier, better habits. Not all habits are bad for us, but it's important for us to be conscious of our habits and try to steer them more in a direction that's going to be good for our overall well-being. And the conscious effort to do positive, repeated action toward your betterment is called progress. A conscious decision to do a positive reaction, have a positive thought, do a positive behavior, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And maybe sometimes you don't, but most of the time you do. Again and again and again is called discipline. When you're making the conscious decision to form positive habits, brand new positive habits, keep to consistently already consisting positive habits, reduce down and or eliminate negative habits that begin to contour your life and your life's trajectory and your inner well-being and all the aspects of your life toward a better, happier destination than you would otherwise have been, is discipline. And eventually it will take less discipline the more something becomes your new autopilot, the more consistent you can be with a positive thing. the more it becomes just what you do. We all acquired our current habits from just doing what we do and doing it over and over and over again. So choosing to do a positive habit over and over and over and over and over and over again, a positive action or a positive thought pattern, a positive emotional coping mechanism rather than a negative reaction, interacting appropriately, communicating appropriately, etc. Again and again and again will eventually become just another habit, another way of being, like all the habits we have now. It will just become you. And it won't be something you have to work at so hard. It's just that you have more good habits than bad habits now. So having a life that is constructed around routine, rituals, habits that are positive and consciously decided, stuck to with consistency and discipline, improved upon, enhanced, and progressed towards over the course of your life will improve your quality of life and quality of self and quality of health. And it means you're living consciously, making good choices for yourself and those around you. And structure helps mental health and emotional well-being. Discipline helps sustain habits and helps us improve our self-esteem. All of these are good things to acquire. So habit doesn't necessarily have to be a bad word. If the habits are good, intentionally chosen, moving you closer to fulfillment, inner peace, holistic health, holistic wellness, positive perspectives, intellectual improvement, advancement in your relationships, etc., etc., etc. There is no more miserable a human being than one whom nothing is habitual. Your life is chaos. You are blown at the mercy of the winds. You wake up in the morning, you don't know what to do with yourself. You don't know what to do from moment to moment. You may have no schedule or little schedule to your life. You haven't implemented a schedule or routine for yourself. You just sort of get pushed to and fro, and any habits you have, some are good, some are bad. You're not fine-tuning them. You're not addressing them. You're not trying to add better things and limit worser things and adjust things to add structure to your day. Maybe your day is wholly unstructured and you have no consciousness of time passing, and you miss a lot of opportunities for yourself. And there's a chaos that it creates to our system to have no structure. And we make no forward progress on our negative habits. We stay in this loop of just wherever we found ourselves is what we are, and we do without thought and of consequence, and everything is all over the place, and our life is consequentially all over the place. So is our mood, and so is our relationship, so is our finances, so is everything when there is no order to our life, and it's up to us to place that order. There is no more miserable a human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision. Hence comes the second portion of the quote. That is key. Indecision. We've all been in places where we face indecision. Sometimes we have more indecision than not. Certain circumstances bring it out of us more than not. Nobody knows what to do all the time. And people that think they know what to do all the time are misguided. But in life, you have to pick a path. You can't be frozen, torn. You're psychologically torn between two equal directions. Is a devastating and entrapping feeling that you ruminate on over and over and over and over, not knowing what to go, reaching this fork in a road in a relationship, whether to leave, whether to stay, your job, whether to leave, whether to stay, whether something is toxic or positive, whether you are or aren't going to stop or start something, and you can't choose. And like I said, we all find ourselves there sometimes with these seemingly equal options, and we can't find the answer. I'll link to the pros and cons list. You can seek advice in books and documentaries and mentors and people you trust, and inquire and try to find more information and try to come to a conclusion, even if that conclusion is that you are not ready for change. You're going to accept it as it is and change your attitude that it is acceptable until you are ready for a change, rather than living in that constant conflict, spinning it around and around in your head, ruminating about indecision. And if the only thing habitual, which means done again and again and again and again and again in life, is indecision, you get nowhere in any direction of your life. You make no groundwork in your emotional welfare, your relationships, your career, your health. You can't make a decision. The only thing predictable about you is that you never make a decision for yourself. If it is constant and chronic that you can't make a decision for yourself, you either need to get to know yourself more, or you need to raise your self-esteem. And you need to limit fear and anxiety. You need to trust that whatever change accrues based on your decision, that you are strong enough, smart enough, adaptable enough to handle the change, whatever direction you pick, A or B, and whatever it results in, positive or negative, that you are competent and capable enough to handle it. You have to have a strong enough personality that you are willing to speak your voice and opinion, and have an opinion if you believe it is right. To speak out, set boundaries, tell people no if no is needed. If needs are needed, that you can speak those out, rather than just remaining trapped because you're afraid to speak up. If you think your thinking might be unliked, your decision might not be likable by the people that surround you, that you trust yourself to have a voice and the right to choose your own life and your own direction. You need to boost your self-esteem, boost your voice, trust that you can handle a good or a bad result, and trust that you are not responsible for other people's emotions. If people dislike your decision, or they have a negative emotional reaction, that you are not responsible for their liking or approval or their negative emotional reactions. You don't want to hurt people, so you don't choose. You don't want people upset at you, so you don't choose. when in your heart you know which way to choose, but you don't choose. And further, that you are strong enough to handle their emotional reactions. You're not responsible for it, and you're strong enough to handle it, positive or negative. Because being trapped, treading water in your life, always, because it says the only habitual thing you do is be indecisive. Always caught between choices, never going anywhere, treading water. It's truly one of the most miserable feelings. I've been in indecision numerous times in my life, and it's a terrible place to be. You can't get it out of your head. You ruminate on it. And if you don't make room on it, you continue to ruminate on it, and it truly is miserable. So, there is no more miserable human being than one in whom nothing is habitual but indecision. Make habit and routine an integral part of your life to move your life forward and to keep your life stable. And if the only habit you have is indecision, realize you have a voice, you are competent enough to express and make decisions for yourself. You are capable of handling positive or negative outcomes of whatever befalls this decision that you have made. You're not responsible for the feelings of others, and you are strong enough to handle the feelings of others. Boost your competence. Boost your competence by seeking out information. And if you cannot make a move still, you have to let it go and not ruminate on it until you can. Learn to make concise decisions in your life. It's your life. You have that right. Wrong or right decision is irrelevant, largely. You're the one that has to face the consequences. Don't be fearful. Be more afraid of being stuck forever than of picking B when you should have picked A. Good morning, goodbye. Too long of a video. Peace, love, joy, all that good stuff.